The impossible claim. Ryan Carter's eyes snapped open. His head throbbed, his body felt heavy, and his vision was blurred. He tried to move, but his arms were strapped down. Panic rushed through him. Where am I? The last thing he remembered was being on his spaceship. He had been checking the navigation system, preparing for a jump through hyperspace. Then, darkness, and now he was here. He blinked, forcing his vision to clear. The room was dimly lit, walls made of smooth black metal with glowing red symbols carved into them. A strange scent filled the air, something sweet but metallic. It made his skin tingle. Then he saw her. A woman stood near the foot of the bed, staring at him. But she was not human. Her skin was pale, almost silver under the dim light. Her eyes glowed a deep, unnatural red. Long, black hair flowed down her back, smooth as silk. Her lips were slightly parted, and behind them, Ryan caught the sharp glint of fangs. She smiled. "My love, you have returned to me." Ryan's breath caught in his throat. "What?" She moved closer, and his heart pounded. Her voice was soft, almost melodic, but there was something dangerous beneath it. "I have waited so long for you," she whispered. "I never stopped looking. And now, at last, you are here." Ryan struggled against the straps. His muscles burned, but he didn't stop. "You have the wrong person," he growled. "I don't know who you are." The woman tilted her head, amused. "You do not remember. That is expected. The humans erased your past." Ryan's blood ran cold. "The humans. I am human," he snapped. She chuckled softly, as if he had told a joke. "You are so much more than that, my love." Ryan's mind raced. Who was she? Where was he? And how did she know his name? His heart pounded as she leaned closer. Her red eyes studied his face, full of longing and something deeper, older. "I knew they would change you," she murmured. "But it does not matter. Blood remembers." Ryan shook his head. "Listen, lady. I don't know you. I don't belong here. Let me go." She sighed, as if disappointed. I expected resistance. Then she reached out and touched his forehead with one cold finger. Memories flooded his mind. He saw himself standing on a battlefield. The air was thick with smoke and fire. Giant alien ships burned in the sky. He was wearing armor, dark and heavy, not like anything humans used. He raised a blade made of red energy, cutting through enemies like a warrior. And beside him, this woman, fighting at his side. Then the vision shattered. Ryan gasped, his body shaking. What the hell was that? "You remember," she said, her voice full of hope. "No," he panted. "I don't. That wasn't me." She touched his cheek gently. "It was you. You were taken from me. They remade you, erased your past, sent you away to live as one of them." Ryan's breathing was uneven. His skin burned where she had touched him. "I don't believe you," he said, but his voice lacked confidence. Serafina smiled. "You will." She stepped back, pressing a button on the wall. The metal straps around Ryan's wrists and ankles clicked open. He was free. He sat up fast, but his head spun. He clenched his fists, ready to fight, ready to run. "I will not harm you," she said softly. "I only want you to remember." Ryan jumped off the table, his feet hitting the cold floor. He backed away from her. She watched him, calm and patient, as if she knew he had nowhere to go. Ryan looked around. There was only one door, and it was behind her. His heart raced. He had one shot. Without warning, he lunged. But before he could take 2 steps, she moved faster than his eyes could track. In a blink, she was behind him. Her arms wrapped around his chest, locking him in place. Her lips brushed against his ear as she whispered, "Even if you run, my love, your blood will always bring you back to me." Ryan shoved her away and stumbled forward. He slammed his fist against the door panel. It hissed open. He ran. The hallway outside was dark, lined with tall, eerie statues. Strange bat-like creatures with glowing eyes crawled along the walls, watching him. He didn't care. He had to escape. But then, he turned a corner and froze in shock. Standing in front of him was himself. Not a reflection, not a hologram. A perfect copy of Ryan Carter, wearing black alien armor. The copy smirked. "You were never meant to remember." Ryan took a step back, his mind spinning. "This isn't real," he whispered. The armored version of himself reached for a red energy blade at his side. "You belong to us," the copy said. Ryan had no time to react. The clone raised the blade and swung. Escape or truth? Ryan barely dodged the glowing red energy blade as it sliced through the air where his head had been just a second ago. His heart pounded like a war drum. The clone, his perfect copy, stared at him with an eerie calmness, its glowing red eyes filled with something Ryan couldn't name. Was it arrogance, pity, a warning? "You were never meant to remember," the clone said, voice identical to Ryan's own. Ryan stumbled back, his mind screaming, "This isn't real. This isn't possible." But the heat from the red blade in front of him was real. The cold metal floor beneath his feet was real. And the alien woman behind him, watching with unwavering patience, was real. His instincts screamed at him, "Run." Ryan turned and sprinted down the dark corridor. The statues that lined the walls seemed to watch him, their hollow eyes following his every move. Shadows twisted under dim red lights. The air was thick with something unnatural, something that made his skin tingle. Behind him, the clone didn't run. It just walked, slow and deliberate, as if it already knew how this would end. The hallway split into two, left or right. Ryan didn't think. He just picked left and ran. Doors rushed past him, some sealed shut, others slightly open. Strange, whispering voices drifted from inside. He didn't dare stop to look. He needed to find a way out. But how? He didn't even know where he was. The last thing he remembered before waking up here was sitting in his spaceship, watching the stars blur as he prepared for hyperspace travel. Now he was trapped in a nightmare that made no sense. His thoughts shattered as the air behind him rippled. The clone was right behind him. Ryan barely had time to react. He threw himself through the nearest open doorway, rolling across the floor. The room was circular, with strange floating screens glowing in the dark. Ryan spun around, searching for a weapon. Anything to defend himself. But the clone didn't follow. Instead, it stood at the doorway, watching. Its red blade hummed softly, glowing like molten metal. "You cannot run from yourself," the clone said. Ryan's chest rose and fell quickly. "You're not me," he spat. "You're some kind of trick. A lie." The clone tilted its head, considering. Then it vanished. Not ran, not walked away. Just gone. Ryan's pulse hammered in his ears. He stared at the empty doorway, his mind racing. What the hell was going on? His answer came sooner than he wanted. A voice behind him, smooth, cold, familiar, whispered, "Do you want to know the truth now?" Ryan spun around, fists clenched. The alien woman, Serafina, stood there. She hadn't made a sound. She had just appeared, as if the shadows had birthed her into existence. Ryan's entire body tensed. "Stay away from me." Serafina did not move. Her glowing red eyes softened, just slightly. "I know you are afraid," she said, "but I swear to you, I am not your enemy." Ryan barked a humorless laugh. "Yeah, because everything about this place screams friendly." She sighed, almost sad. "I told you," she whispered. "You do not remember. But I do." Ryan clenched his jaw. "Stop saying that." Serafina's lips curved into something between a smile and sorrow. "Then let me prove it to you." She reached out slowly, as if moving too fast might frighten him away. Ryan's first instinct was to back away, but some unknown force deep inside, held him still. Serafina placed her cold fingers against his temple. And suddenly, his mind exploded. Images rushed in like a flood. A city made of towering black spires, glowing with red energy. A massive army of alien warriors, clad in dark armor, kneeling before him. And Serafina, standing beside him, her fingers entwined with his, a crown of black metal on her head. His queen. Ryan stumbled back, gasping. His body felt wrong, like something was waking up inside him. Something ancient, something powerful. "No," he whispered, shaking his head violently. "No, this is fake. A trick." Serafina stepped closer. "You are Prince Kalthar of the Nocteri Empire," she said, her voice gentle, but firm. "My husband, my warrior, my love." Ryan felt his stomach turn. He wanted to deny it, to call her insane, to say this was all a hallucination. But something inside him, the part of him that felt the truth in those memories, stayed silent, because a tiny, terrifying part of him recognized that name. Kalthar. His name. No, not his name. Ryan Carter was his name. He was a human pilot, a soldier. But then why did that other name, Kalthar, feel so right? Serafina watched him carefully. "You feel it, don't you?" she whispered. Ryan's breathing was ragged. He felt like he was standing between two lives, his own, and one he had never asked for. A war raged inside him. And in the silence, Serafina spoke one final truth. "If you run from this," she said, "they will come for you. They will kill you, and they will erase you again." Ryan swallowed hard. "Who?" he whispered. Serafina's red eyes darkened. "The Nocteri High Council," she said. "They do not want you to return. They fear what you will become." A cold shiver ran down Ryan's spine. And for the first time since waking up in this nightmare, he wondered, what if she was telling the truth? The clone and the blood bond. Ryan Carter stood frozen, his mind spinning. Prince Kalthar. A name he had never heard before, yet it felt familiar. He clenched his fists. "No, this is a lie. A trick." Serafina watched him with those glowing red eyes, waiting for his reaction. She was patient, too patient. It made him uneasy, like she already knew how this would end. His pulse thundered in his ears. "This isn't real," he muttered. "I'm not him." Serafina stepped closer, her voice soft. "You do not have to believe me, my love. Your blood will remember for you." Ryan took a step back. "I'm not your love. I don't even know you." Serafina tilted her head. There was no anger in her gaze, no frustration, only something deeper, a kind of sadness. "You will," she said. Before Ryan could react, she raised her hand. Dark red symbols glowed on her fingers, pulsating like a heartbeat. And then, fire spread through Ryan's veins. His body seized as if struck by lightning. His knees buckled, but before he collapsed, Serafina caught him. She whispered against his ear, "Let it in." Ryan gasped as memories exploded behind his eyes. Not his memories. Memories of another life. 1,000 battles. The clash of blades against armor. Alien soldiers kneeling before him, chanting his name. Serafina's hand gripping his, standing together at the edge of a burning world. Ryan ripped himself away from her touch, panting. The pain vanished, but the memories remained. He could still see them, still feel them, as if they were his own. But they weren't. They couldn't be. Ryan stumbled back until his shoulders hit the cold metal wall. I don't understand," he whispered. Serafina exhaled, as if relieved. "Your blood remembers." Ryan shook his head violently. "No, I don't remember anything. Those aren't my memories." Serafina took a step forward. "They are. You were taken from me. They erased your past. But you are waking up now." Ryan's breathing was uneven. The visions felt real. But they couldn't be. Could they? A voice interrupted his thoughts. So, you remember. Ryan spun toward the doorway. His clone stood there, still in that dark alien armor, still holding that glowing red energy blade. But this time, the clone's expression was different. It was smiling. Not a smirk, not a sneer, a knowing smile. As if the clone expected this all along. Ryan swallowed hard. Who? What are you? The clone stepped forward, slow, unhurried. I am you. The part of you that was taken. The part that remembers. Ryan's heartbeat hammered in his chest. No, he whispered. That's not possible. The clone stopped a few feet away. Isn't it? Ryan clenched his fists. I'm human. I was born on Earth. I joined the space fleet. I was found drifting in space, alone. No family records, no past. Ryan flinched, because that was true. His earliest memory was waking up in a medical facility, barely 16 years old, with no idea where he came from. The doctors told him he had been found in a wrecked escape pod, floating near the outer colonies. No identification, no DNA matches in any human database. They said he was lucky to be alive. That his past was probably lost in an accident. And he had believed it. For years, he had pushed away the questions, focused on moving forward. Now, standing in front of his own alien reflection, he felt his world cracking apart. The clone turned to Serafina. You've done well, it said. Serafina's expression hardened. I did what I had to do. The clone nodded. Then, it turned its glowing red eyes back to Ryan. Now it said, it is time to decide. Ryan exhaled sharply. Decide what? The clone smiled again. Who you will become. The air in the room grew heavy, charged with something ancient and powerful. Ryan could feel it in his bones. A choice was coming. And whatever he chose, there would be no turning back. The hunt begins. Ryan's chest rose and fell rapidly as he stared at his clone, the armored reflection of himself. His fingers twitched at his sides, itching for a weapon. But he had nothing. No blade. No gun. Just his bare hands, and a mind filled with memories that shouldn't exist. The clone smirked. You feel it, don't you? Ryan clenched his jaw. I don't feel anything. The clone shook its head, amused. Lies. Ryan turned to Serafina, who stood beside him like an eternal shadow, her blood-red eyes locked onto the clone. You knew about this, Ryan accused. You knew there was another me. Serafina didn't deny it. He is not you. The clone chuckled. But I am. Ryan exhaled sharply. Enough with the riddles. Who the hell are you? The clone raised a hand, palm open, and a holographic projection flickered to life in the air. Ryan stiffened at the sight. A battlefield. Alien warriors marched forward in perfect formation, their armor reflecting the burning sky above. At the front of the army stood a man in black armor. The clone. No, not the clone. Ran. The real him. Kalthar. He watched as his past self raised a blood-red energy sword and led the charge. The air burned with plasma fire. Explosions tore through the ground. Screams echoed across the field. Ryan felt like the ground beneath him had disappeared. That's me, he whispered. Serafina spoke softly. It was you. Ryan shook his head violently. No. I don't remember this. I don't know what this is. The clone turned off the projection. You will remember. And when you do, you'll understand why they want you dead. Ryan frowned. Who? A deep rumbling sound shook the floor beneath them. The lights flickered, turning from soft red to blaring orange. Serafina's expression darkened. They found us. Ryan tensed. Who found us? The Nocteri High Council. Serafina's voice was cold. They know you are alive. The clone sighed. Took them long enough. Ryan felt anger and confusion battling inside him. I still don't know what's happening, he said through clenched teeth. "But if we're in danger, maybe you should stop playing games and tell me the truth." Serafina gave him a long, steady look. Then she finally spoke. "The Nocteri are my people," she said. "They ruled over 1,000 worlds, feared and respected across the galaxy. And you, Calthar, you were their greatest warrior." Ryan felt a cold chill crawl up his spine. Serafina continued, "You won wars that should have been impossible. You led armies no one could defeat. But then," she hesitated, her red eyes flickering with something almost like pain, "you betrayed them." Ryan's breath caught. "What?" Serafina's voice was barely above a whisper. "You turned against the High Council. You defied their orders. And so, they sentenced you to death." Ryan's body locked in place. His past self, this Calthar, was a traitor. Before he could ask more, a loud boom shook the walls. A deep mechanical voice echoed through the ship. "Target acquired. Prepare for termination." Ryan's instincts kicked in immediately. "Time to go," he barked. Serafina grabbed his arm. "Follow me." They sprinted out of the room. Behind them, the walls shuddered and cracked as something massive punched through the ship's hull. The hallway ahead lit up with red emergency lights. Ryan could hear the distant clang of metal boots, soldiers boarding the ship. The clone followed beside them, completely calm. "You should fight," it said. "It's what you were made to do." Ryan ignored it. He wasn't Calthar. He was just a human pilot trying to survive. Serafina led them through the twisting corridors. Finally, they reached a hangar bay where a sleek black starfighter rested on a launch pad. Ryan's heart leaped with hope. An escape ship. Then, the doors at the far end of the hangar burst open. A squad of Nocteri soldiers in dark armor stormed in, weapons raised. One of them, a tall, imposing figure with glowing silver eyes, stepped forward. His voice was smooth, controlled. "Prince Calthar," he said, "we have come to bring you home." Ryan's fingers curled into fists. "I don't even know you." The soldier smiled faintly. "Then let me remind you." He raised his palm, and Ryan's entire body convulsed with pain. It was not physical. It was inside him. Like something buried deep within his blood had suddenly been activated. His vision swam. His knees buckled. The clone beside him watched silently. Serafina shouted something, but Ryan couldn't hear her. His own heartbeat was too loud. And then, the memories came. This time, he didn't fight them. This time, they swallowed him whole. War of the Forgotten. Pain. It was unlike anything Ryan had ever felt. His body burned from the inside out, every nerve screaming as something deep within his blood awakened. He fell to his knees, hands clutching his head as memories, not his own, but somehow his, poured into him like a tidal wave. The Nocteri soldier stood over him, palms still raised, his glowing silver eyes unblinking. Serafina's voice cut through the chaos. "Stop," she shouted. "He's not ready." The soldier's cold smile did not falter. "He doesn't have a choice." Ryan's vision blurred, reality shifting between two timelines. The hangar bay, the Nocteri soldiers, Serafina screaming his name. A battlefield of fire and ruin, his own hands dripping with blood, standing atop a pile of fallen enemies. He could hear the past whispering to him, his past self. "I will not kneel. The council does not rule me. I will burn this empire to the ground before I obey." Ryan gasped, the weight of those words crushing his chest. Was this really him? Had he once stood before the Nocteri High Council and declared war on his own people? No, he wasn't Calthar. He was Ryan Carter. Just a man. Just a pilot. Right? The silver-eyed soldier stepped forward, his voice like a blade against Ryan's mind. "Prince Calthar," he said smoothly, "you have been lost for too long. The Nocteri do not forgive traitors, but we are merciful." Ryan gritted his teeth. His muscles ached, his body still struggling under the weight of memory and power. The soldier gestured to his men. "Restrain him." Two Nocturi warriors moved toward Ryan, and something inside him snapped. His fingers twitched. His vision sharpened. For a fraction of a second, he felt it. Not fear, not weakness, but something else. Power. Before he could think, he moved. Faster than he should have been able to. His body reacted like it had done this before. Ryan lunged to his feet, spinning into a low sweep that knocked the first soldier off his feet. The second barely had time to react before Ryan's fist slammed into his chest, sending him flying back. He stared at his own hands in shock. "How did I do that?" The silver-eyed soldier's expression darkened. "It's waking up," he murmured. Ryan had no idea what that meant, but there was no time to ask. Serafina grabbed his wrist. "We need to leave, now." More Nocturi soldiers poured into the hangar, their weapons humming with deadly energy. Ryan turned to the clone, his other self, who had been watching all of this in complete silence. Ryan expected him to attack, to betray him. Instead, the clone smirked. "Go," he said simply. "You're not ready for this fight." Ryan hesitated. "And what about you?" The clone drew his own weapon, the same energy blade from before, and turned toward the incoming soldiers. "I'll buy you time," he said. Serafina didn't wait. She dragged Ryan toward the starfighter, its engine already roaring to life. Ryan's mind was spinning as they ran. Why was the clone helping him? What did he mean by not ready? And why the hell did Ryan feel stronger than ever? They reached the fighter just as the first shots rang out, crimson energy blasts slicing through the air, narrowly missing them. Ryan dove into the pilot's seat. The controls were unfamiliar, but at the same time, not. Serafina was right behind him, slamming the hatch closed. The ship's AI came online instantly. Voice recognition activated. "Welcome, Calthar." Ryan ignored the name. "Just get us out of here," he snapped. Engines roared. The ship lifted, spinning toward the exit. Serafina touched a panel, and the ship's exterior shimmered, cloaking technology. The Nocturi warriors fired, but the shots passed right through where the ship had been. Ryan gripped the controls, his instincts taking over. And then, they were gone, blasting into space, the burning ship vanishing behind them. Silence in the stars. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The cockpit was dark, lit only by the glow of distant stars. Ryan's hands still gripped the controls, his knuckles white. He could still hear the voices of his past self, could still feel the power that had awakened inside him. Serafina finally broke the silence. "You felt it, didn't you?" Ryan exhaled sharply. "I don't know what I felt." She studied him carefully. "Your blood remembers, even if your mind does not. The warrior inside you is waking up." Ryan shook his head. "I don't want to be Calthar," he muttered. Serafina tilted her head. "Then who do you want to be?" Ryan had no answer. He wasn't human. Not fully. Not anymore. And he wasn't Calthar either, no matter what the memories told him. So what did that make him? Serafina leaned closer. "You have a choice," she said. "You can run. Disappear into the stars. Pretend none of this ever happened." Ryan swallowed. "Or," her red eyes glowed softly, "or we take the fight to them." Ryan turned back toward the stars. The Nocturi High Council had tried to erase him, tried to kill him. And now, they would be hunting him across the galaxy. Ryan Carter, or **Calthar, or whoever he was now, **, was officially a wanted man. He should have been terrified. But as he sat in the cockpit of an alien warship, staring into the endless dark, he felt something else entirely. For the first time in his life, he felt free. Betrayal and revelation. Ryan sat in the cockpit of the starfighter, staring into the abyss of space. Behind him, the burning wreckage of the Nocturi warship shrunk into the void, the flames devoured by the silence of the cosmos. His mind, however, was anything but quiet. He could still feel it. That moment back in the hangar, the way his body had moved, the power that surged through his veins, the instincts that felt more natural than breathing. Serafina was right. Something inside him was waking up, and it scared the hell out of him. A past he never knew. Serafina sat in the co-pilot's seat, silent for a long moment. The only sound in the cockpit was the soft hum of the ship's systems and the faint crackle of distant radio waves. Then, finally, she spoke. "You fought like him." Ryan didn't turn. "Like who?" She leaned back, studying him. "Like Calthar." He exhaled sharply. "I don't know who that is." Serafina tilted her head slightly. "No," she said, "but your blood does." Ryan shook his head. "That name, it's not me." She said nothing. He clenched his fists. "Look, I get it. You think I'm this warrior from the past, but I don't remember any of that. I don't know your people. I don't know this empire. All I know is that my entire life, I've been nothing but a pilot, a human pilot." Serafina's lips parted slightly, almost like she wanted to say something. But then, she stopped herself, and that hesitation made Ryan suspicious. He turned to her slowly. "There's something you're not telling me." She held his gaze, her red eyes deep and unreadable. "You wouldn't believe me if I did." Ryan exhaled sharply, rubbing his face. "Try me." Serafina hesitated. Then, finally, she spoke. "You weren't just a warrior," she said softly. "You were something more." Ryan frowned. "What do you mean?" Serafina inhaled deeply. "You were meant to be the next ruler of the Noctari Empire." Silence. Ryan froze. He couldn't have heard that right. "I was what?" "You were the prince of the Noctari. The heir. The one chosen to lead after the High Council stepped down." Ryan felt a weight settle in his chest. "No, that wasn't possible." He shook his head. "No, that can't be true." "It is." Ryan leaned forward, gripping the edge of the dashboard. "You're saying I wasn't just some warrior. I was royalty." Serafina nodded. Ryan ran a hand through his hair, his mind spinning. This was too much. "But if that's true," he asked slowly, "why don't I remember any of it?" Serafina's eyes darkened. "Because the High Council erased you." Ryan blinked. "What?" Serafina leaned in slightly, her voice lower now. "They feared you. The moment you started questioning their rule, they saw you as a threat, and when you tried to defy them, they sentenced you to death." Ryan's throat felt dry. "But I'm still alive." Serafina nodded. "Because I saved you." Ryan's stomach twisted. Something about the way she said that, so certain, so absolute, made him uneasy. He turned to her fully now, eyes narrowing. "How?" Serafina looked away. "How did you save me, Serafina?" She was silent. Ryan felt something cold settle in his chest, and then, slowly, realization hit him like a bullet. "You killed me." Serafina flinched. Ryan's breath caught. His own voice sounded far away. "You were the one who executed me." She didn't deny it. Instead, she whispered, "It was the only way to save you." Ryan shot out of a new destiny. The silence between them felt heavy, thick, like the vacuum of space. Ryan stared at Serafina, waiting, demanding an explanation. His breath was uneven, his fingers clenched into fists, but his heart was hammering with something far worse than anger. Betrayal. "You killed me." Serafina didn't flinch this time. She held his gaze, steady, unwavering. "I did." Ryan swallowed. His throat was dry, his mind spinning, his pulse roaring in his ears. "And you think that makes this okay?" His voice was tight, strained, the weight of the revelation pressing down on his chest. Serafina did not look away. "It was the only way," she said softly. "The only way to keep you from suffering a fate worse than death." Ryan let out a sharp laugh, humorless and bitter. Yeah, pretty sure death ranks pretty high on the fate worse than death list. Serafina shook her head. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. Ryan snapped. Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds like you betrayed me. Serafina exhaled, slow and controlled, as if she had been waiting for this conversation for a long time. The High Council knew they couldn't just execute you, she said. You were too strong, too powerful. If they killed you publicly, you would have become a martyr. The people loved you. The army followed you. If they had turned you into a symbol, the empire would have crumbled. Ryan's stomach twisted. So instead, Serafina continued, they decided to erase you. Ryan frowned. Erase me how? Serafina hesitated for only a second before answering. They broke you down to your very cells, she said. They wiped your genetic memory, stripped away your identity, and remade you into something they could control. Ryan felt his breath catch. The escape pod, he whispered. Serafina nodded. You were never meant to survive, she said. The High Council planned to discard you like trash, sending your body into the farthest reaches of space, where no one would ever find you. Ryan's hands trembled. But I did find you, she said, and I made sure you survived. Ryan's heart clenched. He shook his head, refusing to believe it. You don't just put someone's mind into a new body, he argued. You don't just reprogram a person like that. Serafina looked tired now. It wasn't just reprogramming, she admitted. It was a complete genetic rewrite. The Council altered your DNA, purged every trace of your Nocteri origins, and reassembled you into a human form. Ryan swallowed hard. That's why I never had any records, he whispered. Why I was found with no past. Because my past wasn't supposed to exist. Serafina gave a small nod. Ryan turned away, staring out at the endless stretch of stars. For a long moment he said nothing. And when he finally did speak, his voice was low, quiet, dangerous. They took everything from me. Serafina reached for him. Ryan. He jerked away. Don't, he said, his voice sharp. Just don't. Serafina exhaled, but she didn't argue. Ryan's fingers tightened around the controls of the starfighter, his grip white-knuckled. He had spent his entire life thinking he was just some orphan, some pilot with no past. He had accepted that his life started in that escape pod, drifting through the void. But now he knew the truth. And it burned. The Nocteri High Council had feared him enough to erase him from existence. They had taken his body, his memories, his very identity. And now they were hunting him again. His past had been stolen. His future was theirs to decide. Unless he took it back. Serafina's voice broke the silence. You still have a choice, she said. You can disappear. You can go somewhere the Nocteri will never find you. Live out your days as Ryan Carter, pilot of nothing. Or, Ryan turned to her, his eyes burning. Or we make them pay. A slow smile crossed Serafina's lips. You sound like the man I once knew. Ryan didn't smile back. I'm not him, he said. I'm not Kalfar. Serafina studied him, waiting. Ryan exhaled. But I'm not Ryan Carter either. He looked at the starship's navigation screen. Set a course for the Nocteri homeworld, he said. We end this. Serafina's smile grew. As you wish, she whispered. The engines roared. The stars blurred. Ryan was done running. It was time to rewrite his own destiny.